Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I will be showing you guys 5 non-metal albums that I think metalheads might enjoy, and these will be sorted from the most similar to metal to the least. Like, for example, the first album is still a rock album with fuzzy guitars, but it's not metal by definition. Meanwhile, one of the later albums is a hip-hop album with no guitars at all, because both psychedelic rock and hip-hop are not metal, but of course psychedelic rock is more similar to metal than hip-hop. So like I said, the albums at the start will be more similar to metal, then it'll get less and less similar to metal later in the video. So yeah, let's get started with the first album of the video. The Psychedelic Sounds of the 13th Floor Elevators by the 13th Floor Elevators. And this album's definitely the most similar to metal, but of course it's not metal, it's psychedelic rock. And it came out 4 years before metal was really a thing. And honestly, it's a great album. It's very relaxing, and it reminds me a lot of surf rock. So yeah, if you love guitar-based music, this album should still be a good album for you. And it might have been the first psychedelic rock album anyway, so yeah, I think a metalhead would love this album, because you still get the guitar-based sound. But what's different is that, of course, it's more fuzzy sounding, and like I said earlier, it has a lot of influence from surf rock. So if you like surf rock and metal, then you'll probably like this album, because it has a lot of influence from surf rock, and it is psychedelic rock, which still has semi-heavy guitars. So yeah, the 13th Floor Elevators debut album is a good one to start off with. Next we got Fragile by Yes, a progressive rock album. The guitars here are even less distorted. Like, a lot of the times it doesn't even sound like rock really, but there are a few parts that still have guitars in them that you can notice. And yeah, this is definitely one of Yes's best albums. I didn't include something like Close to the Edge or Layer, because if you're not really used to listening to progressive rock yet, then I don't think an album that has weirder music on it would be good. I mean, you may still like it, but I would start with Fragile, just in case you're not used to listening to prog. So yeah, Fragile by Yes is another album that I think metalheads would like, if you're wanting to get into progressive rock. So yeah. Next we got Living the Blues by Canned Heat. And this album is like a blues rock album, but there are plenty of moments where there's not much rock. So yeah, definitely not metal, but still blues rock. And I will warn you, this album is a double album, and the second half of the album is mainly just a bunch of guitar solos, with a few vocals occasionally thrown in. So yeah, if I was you, I would recommend not listening to the second half of this album, and just listening to the first disc of it, because the second disc is just 2 songs that are really long, and have a ton of psychedelic guitar solos, and not much really going on. But you can if you want to. I mean, you'll still get the same experience. Just if you listen to the whole thing, you'll be listening to a ton of guitar solos near the end. But yeah, Living the Blues is still a great blues rock album. A lot of great hits on it, like Going Up the Country and My Mistake. There's plenty of other awesome songs in there too. And I do like the weirder song, Part the Genesis. That song's on the B side of the album, I think. The album has 4 sides to it. Side A has all the hits on it, and side B has Part the Genesis. And both side A and side B are good. And of course, side C and side D are the songs that I mentioned earlier that have a ton of guitar solos. So yeah, definitely check this one out, because if you want to get more into blues rock, I feel like Living the Blues is a great album to start off with. And like I said, you can always skip the second half of the album with Refried Boogie 1 and 2, because I don't really think they're that necessary to enjoy the album. I honestly just recommend listening to the hits on side A and Part the Genesis and just calling it a day. But if you want to listen to the whole thing, you can also do that too. So yeah. And then for the fourth album, I have The Low End Theory by A Tribe Called Quest. Now this is the first album in this list that's not rock. There's no guitars on here. It's just a straight up hip hop album with a bit of jazz in it. But I still think a metalhead might like it, because unlike a lot of newer hip hop albums, it sounds more authentic. The turntables sound more real, and the drum beats in the background too. And the jazzy stuff is going to help you get into it a lot too, because a lot of metal has influence from jazz. So if you like jazz, then you'll definitely like this album, because it's like a hip hop album with the occasional jazz melody thrown in there. So yeah, The Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest is a really good album. And you should check it out if you want to get further into hip hop or boom bap music. And it'll especially help if since there's a lot of jazz in there too. And then finally for the fifth album, we have Bangarang by Skrillex. Now this album is dubstep, and a lot of metalheads don't like dubstep, but a lot of them do. So yeah, if you do like abrasive music, then Bangarang is good for that. Of course, it's like very divisive on if metalheads like dubstep or not, because a lot of them hate it, but a lot of them really like it. So yeah, I would recommend Bangarang still, because it still has abrasive and distorted music on it, even though there's no guitars on it. And a lot of metalheads still like it. So yeah, I would give it a shot and then form your opinion after listening to it, instead of just assuming it's bad because it's dubstep. But I still think that a lot of metalheads will like this album too. Well, that's the 5 non-metal albums I would recommend to a metalhead trying to expand their music taste. If you like my picks and enjoyed the video, make sure to rate and subscribe. Stay tuned for part 2, because there's a lot of great non-metal albums that I think a metalhead would like if they give them a chance. And I'll see you guys in the next video.